Hi everyone, Pedro here, and today we're gonna make something different. I don't have any script prepared, I don't have any specific topic I wanna talk about. I just wanted to draw. I had this idea for this drawing of Alphabet Fury and just wanted to make it, and I just wanted to share it, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a speed paint out of it. So like I recorded my screen, yeah, it's just the process. I choose to make a drawing of the two of them because at the very end of the movie, Wicked Part 2, I really enjoy the moment they have. They are just so happy to see each other regardless of the circumstances. I thought it was so tender, so beautiful. I was like, I gotta draw this. And the design of Fear as a scarecrow, I think it's really cool, and that was basically the whole inspiration. I just wanted to draw them both because they are a very cute couple, even though the movie is not about romance. And yeah, that's it. I created this channel not wanting to do just one thing, like just make videos about this or about that, and I want this channel to be about my interests and just drawings, just drawing random stuff. Sometimes it is the interest. And yes, I'm gonna, if you're watching this before the next video comes out, yes, I'm still gonna make a video about Wicked for Good. So I just wanted to make this one, and the script and the recording process of this next video is taking a bit longer than I anticipated, just because I'm not being as fast as I would like to be, but I still wanted to post something, and I really like the idea of this drawing, and yeah, that's basically the whole story. Another thing that I did with this drawing that I haven't done with the last few is that I'm recording from the very start of the drawing. Like I just opened the file and started it, because with my other drawings I generally only start recording after I have like the basic sketch, because usually the sketch can be the part that takes longer. Like it can take much longer than I would like to, and I feel like putting the sketch part into a video would make it too long, even though it's just a time lapse. But I wanted to try to snap myself out of it. Like, I don't know, let's show the whole process, and that's it. For to be honest, I have a sketch that I made on paper, but I just to have a vague notion out of what I wanted to do. But then when I started working on the digital version, I did basically everything from scratch, and I used some references because it was tricky to find the position where to draw Elphaba's hand. But it was interesting, and it's like there's also another thing that I'm happy this channel can be. It can be like the passage of my art throughout the years, and like how my art process goes through and how it may changes or may not. So it's nice to, I think that's my very first time like recording from the get-go. Yeah, like drawing from the very start. So it's interesting, even though I had a very clear vision of how I wanted it to be. It's still nice to see how throughout the whole process I changed the basic proportions, and the very first sketch, how the features and the parts of their hands or their faces were so different and in so many different sizes, and now they are as they are at the end. But like seeing the whole process, it's like, wow, it can change so much from the beginning to the end, and sometimes I forget that when I have just the final product. Another thing that I'm getting from making this video is that I didn't write anything. I'm just speaking my mind, and like, am I gonna speak it until the end of the video? Maybe, because some speed paints have they have a quick introduction, then they just have a lo-fi playing on the background, and they're completely silent. But like, maybe I do have something to say. I don't know. I also want in the future practice not having to use a script, because it can be sometimes very exhausting, not just writing it, but like reading it repeatedly until I get the right pronunciation, because I get
sometimes I get a bit nervous and my tongues get all twisted when I try to speak a sentence that I'm looking at the screen right now. But yeah, I'm already kind of excited to see what next speed paint I'm going to do next, because again, there's not a script. Sometimes it can take me days to write a whole script, and it is often the most mentally demanding part because I have to come up with all the things. But at the end, I constantly end up with a very compelling text that I'm like, wow, I didn't think of that when I was watching it. But it has its advantages, like you have to think more about what you're writing, but the whole element of spontaneity just vanishes. It's not spontaneous at all. Like, I can make it sound chill and natural, but it doesn't feel like it when you're actually recording it. So maybe this is also giving me an experiment to how I might record videos in the far future. We'll see. Not to mention, it's so easy, like the editing process of a video like this. It's unbelievably easy because I just compound all the clips of the recordings of the screen. I shrink them. I make them very fast because I spent hours making this drawing. So like, yeah, just get all the footage and shrink it in, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. And the editing of the audio is just me talking and maybe some music in the background, probably some music in the background, but like, no a lot of sound effects, not a lot of images going on the screen. I don't have to revise the whole video to put teeny tiny drawings of myself to basically every little sentence to to make the video more interesting with my little cartoons of myself, because this is not the point of this video. It's just to chill. Talking more about the process of this drawing, of this illustration, is that I had to look at a lot of photos of Fiyero as a scarecrow, and like the digital version of the movie hasn't come out yet because, of course, the movie came out like just a couple weeks ago as the time I'm recording this. And like, I had to dig a lot of images of the scarecrow because sometimes you don't realize how complex a design is until you have to draw it and look at it compulsively, basically. And like, there's so many little things, like the strings of fabric and all the wheat on his clothes. For the record, the idea of turning his hair into grass and wheat is amazing. I think it looks so nice. And like how do you call it, the shoulder blades and all the golden details of his clothes became also wheat and dry grass. So like, it is very cool. I think the design is very, very nice, and I had to look a lot of photos of it. And there's this meme going on that Scarecrow Fiyero looks like Ryan Reynolds, which I get. Yeah, I cannot deny it. But like, there's so many little details, like so many different strings of grass and fabric coming out of his clothes, because he's all messy right now. And I spent not a lot of time, but like, it's that kind of detail that looks like it was difficult, but it wasn't, because if the essence of the design is to look messy, it's not that hard to make it look messy, because it just don't have a lot of order to do it, to make it. But something that worried me was how was I going to build the texture of Fiyero's hands and face, like the fabric texture, because I didn't want to go super detailed, because I wanted to make more like, not cartoonish, but like more 2D. And if you lean too far toward the details, you end up not looking as 2D as you want to. So luckily I have a brush in Clip Studio Paint that has like this parallel lines, And when you make a huge stroke and you make another stroke crossing it, gives this pattern that I want to the fabric that is not his skin. So like I was so relieved because it was actually very easy to build this texture both on his clothes and on his skin. So it was not a problem actually. Why when it happens often to me when I think something is going to be difficult when I'm gonna draw it, and then turns out that I have a brush or some tool that makes it very very easy. It's so relieving, but at the same time it makes me very happy, like, oh, I'm so glad. And it turned out great. So like it's very very relaxing, but at the same time very exciting. It happened to the next video I'm gonna post with the drawing of Elphaba for Wicked for Good, my video of Wicked for Good, because I was struggling to figure out what I was going to do with her cloak. Cloak, is that how to say it? Cloak. But then I found I have like dozens of brushes that I download and never use, and I found this that has like a brush stroke, very rustic texture that is just what I want. And I was like, oh, this is so good. I was so relieved and so happy that I found it because it looks better than I anticipated. And the same brush I used on Fiero's skin and like jacket, I used on Elphaba's hair to make like her micro braids, because it was a bit tricky not to make her hair look like just straight wavy hair, because it isn't. But I didn't want to give like too many details, because it would not fit the rest of the vibe that I wanted. So this brush worked just fine for this. I really thought I didn't have a lot of things to say about this drawing itself, but I'm more than halfway through the time I planned to this video to have, and still talking. I intentionally and not intentionally at the same time had a pretty clear idea of the colors that I wanted to use for this drawing. Obviously, green, like the yellowish green Elphaba has on her skin, and the more bluish emerald green Fiero has on his clothes, and in yellow, a lot of yellow, because yeah. And it was very naturally that the lights in general, I use blue lights to make the shadows and warmer like yellowish and orange-ish lights to make the lights the lights. But for this one I didn't use any blues, like any shade of blue I used for the shadows. I figured out using oranges, and especially red would suit it better, and like have, because when we see the Scarecrow for the first time, like when Elphaba sees the Scarecrow for the first time, they have a sunset lighting, and everything is yellow and bright, like the golden hour. And I think the red shadows suited just beautifully to give like this cozy and comfortable, and this yellowness of this happy ending, bittersweet but still happy ending for the both of them. And it turned out great, because I think red shadows are a bit underused, because they can look so good, especially with yellows and oranges. And I'm gonna be honest, they didn't look like that, like wow, with the green of Fiero's jacket. But it was a minor, like it was a minor factor. Like I didn't even bother like when like, oh, it's just darker, because the colors didn't go too well, like the red with the bluish green. But they just make them darker. It's functional for its purpose, but it looks just beautiful with the yellow of all the wheat and grass of Fiero's new characteristics. Luckily, I didn't have a lot of, like, I didn't have to draw any of Elphaba's clothes, because they basically don't show on this drawing of mine. But also, I found very difficult to find any footage of image of this clothes that she's wearing at the end of the movie, not the clothes that she's wearing when she's walking towards the desert. This is a different outfit, but like the clothes that she's wearing just when she comes out of the trapdoor. I couldn't find it. I just know that her shoulder and her arm are exposed, and this is what I went through with. And she was wearing black, which is a usually safe guess. So yeah, I'm glad that it wasn't the focus, and it wasn't really like the challenge. It was just everything else around Elphaba. By the way, if you're watching this video so far, why don't you subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, share this video with someone that you think will like this drawing too, and help my channel grow. I would be very thankful. Talking again about the messiness of this drawing, like the strings, the grass, the wheat. As I mentioned, it wasn't difficult, but it's like I had like 7 different layers, because every time I thought I would need to put more messiness and noise on the image, I would add a new different layer, and I ended up adding a lot of it and many different layers after this, because I often don't like to interfere with a layer that I already finished, quote unquote finished, because I feel like I think that is a very digital art thing to experience, that you want to save everything, because you can only control Z up to a certain point. Like I want to have as many options as possible, so I create a lot of layers, because if I don't like something, it won't be a pain to erase it. Yeah. I know there are people that draw everything in a single layer. I don't have the balls to do so. I'm a bit of a coward when it comes to using a single layer. I always use multiple, dozens. Yeah, it's sometimes really really infuriating, because when I want to find a specific layer, I basically have to hit and show each one of them to see if the detail that I want to change is in this specific layer. So I'm always clicking and scrolling throughout the dozens of layers that I just made to find the specific layer that I want. And I think that's something that people don't give enough attention when they're making a digital drawing, like the organization of the layers and the files holding the layers. Like, they can help you so much navigate like the whole thing. Like with this drawing, I had a layer just for Elphaba, one just for Fiyero, and another one just for the line art, and I risk to say that wasn't enough. Like, it helped me a lot as it is, but like for the lighting and the shadings that I did when I finished the whole base, I had so many layers. I was like, damn, that's so many. I should fuse a few of them, because they are basically the same, like the same setting with the same opacity, but like, nah, let them be, because maybe if I want to change them later, I rarely end up changing them. But still, it's almost like a compulsion, like don't change it, maybe you want to change it later. And that's how I end up with dozens. Sometimes, not sometimes, I never got to 100 layers or something like that, but I might have come close, for sure, close to that. Yeah. Something that is noticeable in my drawings is that they don't have backgrounds, because I'm relatively confident with drawing characters and clothes and different poses, but like backgrounds, that's the spot that I need to work on. Like, I want to draw backgrounds, but sometimes they are so intimidating, and the perspectives, I'm not very good with the background perspectives. So like, I feel like I'm good with art in general, but like backgrounds is definitely the least thing I do. So like this drawing doesn't have a background. There's just like a splashes of color, just because also I want the two of them to be the focus of the drawing. So even if I did know how to draw a background that is not abstract, I think I wouldn't do it for this drawing specific, because I want the two of them to be the focus.
Like the hug and the tenderness to be the main point of the whole thing.
And again, speaking of the two of them, I think the piece of detail that I gave the most attention to, and I even changed a bit when it comes to Fiyero more towards the end of the drawing, actually right now, I really wanted to make like their faces and their expressions very clearly showing what they were feeling, in the sense that they don't regret anything they did. Like Fiyero doesn't dislike Elphaba for what she did to him, like the spell to make him stay alive, and like the only thing they care is that they're both safe and they're both together. And like Fiyero, a guy who previously was the hottest guy on the town and like known for his beauty and his charisma, now it doesn't have it anymore. He walks with a limp. He doesn't look as conventionally handsome as he used to, and like even he knows, like, you don't. He says, "You don't need to lie to me," but she's like, "It's not lying. You're still beautiful to me." And like, this is such a cute moment, and I think it's so beautiful and so tender. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite moments of the whole movie. Is they getting back together again, and they really don't care what they're leaving behind. Like, they are not attached to it as much as one would to, because they have each other now, and that's all that matters at the end. And that is how it turned out at the end. I'm very happy with it. I think it looks great. It took me about 9 hours to make, like, from the very beginning. Like, it took me 9 hours more or less, which is, I think it's an okay time. So I feel like I could keep adding details forever. So there are times that I just decide to stop. Like, no, it's time. It looks great, and it does look great. I think it does, and I like how it looks very much. And yeah, I think that's it. So comment, like, subscribe, share this video. You know the whole thing. And I hope you guys liked it, because I enjoy making it, because it was relatively fast and easy to make this video. So see you guys in the next video. Subscribe, please. Leave your opinions down below, and bye.